September 2nd, 1944, outside Metz, France. A Sherman tank commander climbs out of his turret and vomits. Not from fear, from rage. His fuel gauge reads empty. Behind him, 400 tanks sit silent. Ahead, the road to Germany stretches open, undefended. They could be in Berlin by Christmas, but they're not moving. Not 1 inch. The smell hits you first. Diesel exhaust mixing with autumn rain. Then the sound. Wind through tank hatches, men cursing softly. And finally, the sight that breaks your heart. A 5-star General George S. Patton slamming his fist on a Jeep hood hard enough to dent it. Give me gasoline and I'll give you Berlin, but right now I can't even take the village down the road. How do you lose a war you're winning not with bullets, with arithmetic? And that morning the arithmetic said we're out of fuel. 6,000 miles away, a 45-year-old man who was rejected from this war sits in a cornfield with a notebook. He doesn't know it yet, but the numbers he's writing will save Patton's army, will save thousands of lives, will change warfare forever. His name is Thomas Hartwell, and nobody will remember him. But before this story ends, a 19-year-old boy will drive a truck through hell because of what Thomas taught him. And that boy will live because of a farmer who understood what generals didn't. War isn't won by the men who fight. It's won by the men who make sure the fighters have what they need to keep fighting. October 14th, 1943, 291 B-17 bombers fly into Germany. 60 don't come back. 600 men dead. The next morning, a logistics officer reads the report and finds the real killer. P-51 fighter escorts were grounded. Why fuel shortage at their airfield? The bombers died because a truck didn't arrive on time. Walk through any Allied motor pool in France, autumn 1944. The air reeks of gasoline, not from trucks running, from trucks idling, waiting. Engines running for hours while convoys sit in traffic. Fuel dripping from overfilled tanks. Drivers gunning engines to stay warm. Each wasted gallon makes a sound, a soft hiss, like air escaping from a dying man. The 1st U.S. Army consumes 1 million gallons of fuel per day in Normandy. 20% is lost to waste. That's 200,000 gallons per day, literally burned for nothing. Enough to run 2,000 tanks for a full day, or keep 20,000 men from freezing at night. Engineers propose bigger fuel tanks. That makes trucks heavier, slower. Quartermasters suggest more trucks. That requires more fuel to run them. Generals order move faster. That burns even more fuel going fast. Nobody has an answer that works. November 8th, 1944. Eisenhower's headquarters. A supply officer presents a chart. At current consumption rates, the Allied advance will stop completely by January 15th, 1945. Not because of Germans, because they'll run out of gasoline. Eisenhower stares at the chart for 30 seconds, then speaks. Gentlemen, we're about to lose this war to our own logistics. Find me a solution, or I'm calling off the winter offensive. They have 60 days. No one in that room knows the solution is sitting in a farmhouse in Iowa, written in pencil in a 10-cent notebook. December 8th, 1941. Thomas Hartwell, age 42, walks into the Storm Lake recruitment office. He's the 14th man in line. His neighbors' sons are ahead of him. Boys he taught to drive tractors. Boys he hired for harvest. The doctor's exam takes 3 minutes. Drop your pants. Bend your left knee. Thomas does. The knee clicks, audibly. Tractor rollover. 1936 pinned me for 4 hours. Can you march 20 miles? I can work 20 hours. That's not what I asked. Silence. The doctor stamps the form. 4F rejected. Thomas walks the 3 miles home. It's snowing. His knee aches, but he doesn't limp. Pride won't let him. He passes the recruiting poster at Miller's drugstore. America needs you. He stops, stares at his reflection in the window. A middle-aged farmer in overalls. Useless. That night, Thomas lies in bed, listening to the radio. FDR's voice. Ask not what your country can do for you. Martha, his wife, reaches for his hand. He pulls away. Because what can he do? He can plow a field. He can fix an engine, but he can't fight. And in his mind, that makes him a coward. Spring 1944. Thomas starts measuring everything on his farm. Not just yields, fuel consumption. His notebook fills with entries. March 12th, 1944. Field 7, 40 acres plowed. Fuel 12.3 gallons. Time 6.5 hours. March 19th, 1944. Field 7, 40 acres plowed with new method. Fuel 10.6 gallons. Time 6.2 hours. May 1944. Thomas has 87 days of data. The pattern is undeniable. When he drives smoothly, no rapid acceleration, no hard braking, steady throttle, he saves 13 to 17% fuel. Every time. It's not luck. It's physics. July 23, 1944. An envelope arrives from France. His cousin Raymond drives supply trucks for the Red Ball Express. One paragraph makes Thomas sit down. Tom, we're burning gas like it's free. Trucks idling for 3 hours waiting to unload. Guys racing each other uphill. No one thinks about fuel because there's always more, except now there's not. And boys are dying because supplies don't arrive. I don't know how to fix it, but you're the smartest guy I know with engines, if you have any ideas. That night, Thomas calculates. 15% savings times 1 million gallons per day equals 150,000 gallons saved per day. That's 2,000 tanks running. That's 20,000 men not freezing. That's something he can do from Iowa, July 29th, 1944. Thomas writes to David Morrison. They went to high school together. David is a lieutenant colonel now. 5 pages of letter. Hand-drawn diagrams. But before sealing it, he stops. Martha asks, "What's wrong?" "What if I'm wrong? What if they try this, and it gets boys killed because they're moving slower, easier targets?" "What if you're right and you stay silent?" Thomas seals the envelope. His hand shakes. The last line reads, "Dave, I may just be a farmer who couldn't serve, but I think I found a way to fight from home. If I'm wrong, burn this letter. If I'm right, maybe I'm not useless after all." August 12th, 1944. High Wycombe, England. Lieutenant Colonel David Morrison, age 38, sits in his office, reeks of cigarette smoke and old coffee. The walls are covered with maps, fuel consumption charts, casualty reports. He's on his 4th cup of bitter British tea when the mail clerk drops off a bundle. One envelope handwriting he recognizes. Tom Hartwell. Morrison almost smiles. Tom, the kid who taught him trigonometry in high school, the kid who could fix any engine by sound alone. He reads the letter. First page, this is insane. Second page, but the math. Third page, Jesus Tom. This could work. Fourth page, or it could get me court-martialed. Morrison looks at his desk. A casualty report. 17 trucks lost last week to fuel exhaustion. Crews stranded, some captured, 2 killed. He thinks about his father, auto mechanic from Detroit who died in 1938 from lung disease. His father's last words. "David, you're going to be an officer. Good. Remember, the best ideas don't come from headquarters. They come from the guys with grease under their nails. Don't ever forget that." Tom Hartwell has more grease under his nails than anyone Morrison knows. August 15th, 1944. Weekly staff meeting. Morrison takes a breath. Sir, I have a proposal for fuel efficiency. Colonel Raymond Vickers doesn't look up. From Engineering Corps, from a farmer in Iowa. The room goes silent. Vickers slowly looks up. A farmer. Yes, sir, but... Captain Morrison, we have MIT engineers. We have Boeing consultants. We have men who designed the Merlin engine. And you want to stake Allied logistics on agricultural advice. Morrison steadies himself. Sir, with respect, MIT engineers told us bigger tanks were the answer. They're not. This farmer is suggesting we change how we drive, not what we drive. And his math says 15% savings. Math from a man who never commanded a convoy. Math from a man who's been optimizing fuel efficiency for 20 years. Sir, we lost 17 trucks last week, if there's even a chance. Vickers stares at Morrison for a long moment, then speaks quietly. Morrison, I lost my brother because someone thought they knew better than regulations. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. Field modifications killed him. Unauthorized genius killed him. So when you ask me to authorize a farmer's theory, I see my brother's grave. Silence fills the room like smoke. Morrison meets his eyes. Sir, I understand. But with respect, how many more brothers are we going to bury because we refuse to try something new? Vickers stares for 10 seconds that feel like 10 years. One convoy, experimental status, low-risk route. If it fails Morrison, you're done. Not just in logistics, in the Army. Understood, sir. That night, Morrison writes in his journal, I just bet my career on a farmer's notebook. God help me if Tom is wrong. God help us all if he's right, and we ignored it. August 29, 1944. Convoy 37. 24 trucks selected for the test run. Liège to Iwila, Belgium. 90 miles. Morrison personally briefs the drivers. Gentlemen, I'm about to teach you to drive like farmers. Laughter ripples through the room. Private Eugene Walsh grins. Sir, my granddad drove a mule cart. That what we're doing, Morrison doesn't smile. Your granddad's mule cart probably got better fuel efficiency than you do. So yes. The laughter dies. Every time you floor the gas, you're burning fuel to overcome inertia. Every time you slam the brakes, you're turning gasoline into wasted heat. Every time you leave 100 feet between trucks, the next guy is fighting wind resistance alone. Sergeant Marcus Cole, a Red Ball Express veteran, leans forward. So, we're trying to waste nothing. Exactly. You're thinking like farmers now. The convoy rolls out at dawn. Fog hangs low over Belgian roads. The sound is different. 24 engines not roaring but humming. Steady. Rhythmic. Walsh drives third position and notices something odd. His truck feels easier to control. Less fighting. More gliding. By 9 in the morning, they hit the midpoint checkpoint. The fuel clerk stares at his gauges. Checks them twice. Walks over to Morrison. Sir, these readings can't be right. Why not? They're showing 9.7% under expected consumption. That's impossible. Morrison keeps his voice steady. Check again. The clerk rechecks. 9.7%, sir. Tom Hartwell was right. Hour 3. The sky turns black. Not gradually. Suddenly. 1 minute clear roads. Next minute thunderstorm. Rain so hard the wipers can't keep up. Roads turn to mud soup. Truck 12 hits a slick patch at 11:47. Walsh feels it before he sees it. The rear wheels lose grip. The truck slides sideways. Slow motion. He pumps the brakes. Wrong move. The truck jackknifes. Metal screaming. Mud splattering. Men shouting. The entire convoy stops. Engines idle. Rain hammers the roofs. Wind rocks the trucks. Walsh's voice shakes on the radio. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Cole responds. Morrison, we got a problem. Walsh's truck is blocking the road. Recovery's gonna take at least an hour. Morrison makes the call. Keep engines at minimum idle. Shut down if you can. A driver protests. Sir, we're freezing. I know, but we need accurate fuel readings. This test means something. 97 minutes of rain. Drivers sitting in cold trucks, some smoking, burning cigarettes, not fuel. Walsh in his cab with his head in his hands. I ruined it. The final tally comes in. Fuel efficiency 3.2% savings. Classification inconclusive. Back at headquarters, Vickers reads the report. His face reveals nothing. As I expected, theory doesn't survive reality. Sir, the first half proved. The first half doesn't win wars, Captain. Results do. This test is closed. September 3rd, 1944, Storm Lake, Iowa. The letter from Morrison arrives. Martha brings it to Thomas in the field. He reads it 3 times. Tom, we tried it. Results were inconclusive due to weather complications. The method showed promise initially, but I'm not sure we can justify another test given the risks. Thank you for your effort. It means more than you know. Dave. Martha touches his shoulder. What does he say? Thomas folds the letter carefully. He says it didn't work. I'm sorry, Tom. He goes to his workshop, sits, doesn't move for an hour. Evening comes. Thomas sits on his porch. The sun sets red. Wind through the corn makes a sound like radio static. He turns on the radio. War news. Allied advance slowing due to supply issues. Casualties mounting. Thomas turns it off. Maybe I am just a foolish old man. What do I know about war? I know corn. I know tractors. I don't know convoys or combat or anything useful. But then Thomas opens his notebook, flips through pages. March 12th, 13% savings. March 19th, 15.2%. April 3rd, 16.8%. May 12th, 14.1%. 87 days of data. The numbers don't lie. He pulls out paper, writes by lantern light. 11 at night. Dave, your roads may be worse than my fields. But engines are engines. They burn fuel the same way in Belgium as they do in Iowa. The problem wasn't the method. The problem was the storm. And here's what I know about storms. They pass. But principles don't change. You taught your drivers the steps. That's good. But you didn't teach them the why. A farmer doesn't just follow steps. He understands why each step matters. Teach them that. And Dave, one more thing. Don't quit because it's hard. Quit because it doesn't work. You didn't give up on me in 1917 when I failed trigonometry. Spent 3 hours teaching me sin and cosine until I understood. I never forgot that. Don't give up now. Give me one more chance. Please. Tom. September 8th, 1944. 2 in the morning. Morrison hasn't slept in 36 hours. The letter from Thomas sits on his desk. He's read it 4 times. On his desk, a new casualty report. 14 more trucks lost this week. He remembers 1917. Tom Hartwell staying after school to help him pass math. Never gave up. Never impatient. Just kept teaching until David understood. Morrison stands, walks to Vickers's office, knocks. It's 2 in the morning, Morrison. Sir, I need to request authorization for a second test. I already told you. Sir, we lost 31 trucks in 2 weeks. That's 31 crews. Some dead, some captured, all because we ran out of fuel before we ran out of road. And your farmer's method will fix that. I don't know, sir, but I know doing nothing won't. Vickers leans back in his chair, studies Morrison's face. Morrison, if this fails, you're not just off logistics. You're out of the army. Dishonorably. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Why are you doing this? Because my father taught me to listen to the men with grease under their nails, and Tom Hartwell has been getting grease under his nails for 30 years. If he says it works, I believe him. Vickers stares at Morrison. The silence stretches. Finally, he speaks. 120 trucks, Chartres route. You will personally supervise every aspect. If one truck fails, one life lost, it's on you. Morrison salutes. Yes, sir. September 10th, 1944. The maintenance hangar at Cherbourg Depot smells like motor oil cigarette smoke and rain-soaked canvas. 120 drivers sit on ammunition crates, skeptical. Most have been driving convoys for 6 to 18 months. They've survived ambushes, mechanical failures, and frozen roads. Now some desk officer wants to teach them how to drive. Morrison enters carrying a chalkboard and Tom Hartwell's letter, now creased and stained with coffee rings. He looks like he hasn't slept in days, because he hasn't. Gentlemen, how many of you have lost friends to enemy fire? Most hands go up. How many have lost friends because their convoy ran out of fuel 10 miles from base? Uncomfortable silence. Fewer hands, but they rise slowly. That second number should be 0. We're going to make it 0, Morrison writes on the chalkboard. Waste equals death. Every wasted gallon is a truck that doesn't arrive. Every truck that doesn't arrive is a soldier who doesn't eat, doesn't fight, doesn't come home. You're not learning to save fuel. You're learning to save lives. He sets down the chalk. I'm going to tell you about a farmer in Iowa named Tom Hartwell. He's 45 years old. He was rejected from the army because of a bad knee. That rejection haunts him every single day. But Tom didn't stop fighting. He fought with the only weapon he had, a notebook and a pencil. For 6 months, he measured every drop of fuel his tractor burned. And he discovered something the Army's best engineers missed. Sergeant Marcus Cole speaks up. What's that, sir? That the way you move matters more than what you're moving. Morrison demonstrates with his hands. Watch. When I accelerate hard, I'm burning fuel to overcome inertia. The truck is fighting me. When I brake hard, I'm turning that fuel into wasted heat. But when I move smooth, the truck works with me. Less fuel fighting physics, more fuel moving cargo. Private Eugene Walsh raises his hand. Sir, with respect, we tried this once. Didn't work. We tried the steps. I didn't teach you the thinking. That's on me. Morrison's voice softens. Tom Hartwell doesn't just drive his tractor. He understands his tractor. Feels when it's working hard when it's gliding. You need to feel your trucks the same way. Cole asks, How do we do that, sir? Close your eyes. The drivers exchange glances confused. Do it. Close your eyes. Now imagine you're in your truck. Engine running. You press the gas. Too hard. What do you feel? A driver responds. The truck lurches. Exactly. That lurch is wasted fuel. Now imagine you press the gas smoothly. What do you feel? It's smoother. Steady. That's what Tom taught me. Don't drive with your foot. Drive with your whole body. Feel the truck. Listen to the engine. It'll tell you when you're wasting fuel. Morrison pauses, looks each driver in the eye. Gentlemen, I risked my career on this. If it fails, I'm out of the Army. But I don't care about my career. I care about you. Because every one of you has someone waiting at home. And Tom Hartwell's method gives you a better chance of getting back to them. 10 days of training follow. Day 1, drivers practice steady acceleration on closed course. Day 3, formation spacing drills. 50 feet, no more, no less. Day 5, hill climbing without gear grinding. Day 8, night driving with minimal throttle adjustment. Day 10, full dress rehearsal. By September 20th, the drivers don't just know the method. They understand it. They feel it. Cole speaks to Walsh. You know what, I think this might actually work. Walsh nods. Yeah, and if it does, we owe that farmer in Iowa a beer. September 15th, 1944. German Intelligence Office Metz. The office is cramped, lit by a single bulb. The air smells like stale coffee and cheap tobacco. Hauptmann Klaus Reinhardt, age 41, stares at his desk as covered with charts, pins, red string connecting data points. He looks like a detective hunting a killer. Reinhardt stares at a chart. His aide, Lieutenant Fischer, approaches. Fischer, look at this. Sir, Allied convoy from Cherbourg to Chartres, August 21st. Estimated travel time 8 hours 15 minutes. Actual 8 hours 10 minutes. 5 minutes, sir, within margin of error. Now look at September 8th. Same route. Estimated 8 hours 15 minutes. Actual 7 hours 32 minutes. They're going faster. No. Our reconnaissance reports same speeds, same vehicles, same loads. Reinhardt leans back. They're not going faster. They're arriving faster, which means they're stopping less, wasting less time. But why? He spreads more charts across the desk. August 29th, convoy arrives 8% ahead of schedule. September 3rd, 6% ahead with weather delay noted. September 8th, 11% ahead. September 12th, 13% ahead. September 18th, 14% ahead. Efficience, they've improved efficiency. Fischer asks, how? I don't know, but someone on their side is thinking, really thinking, and that's more dangerous than any new weapon. September 16th. Underground command bunker, cold. Smells like damp concrete and mildew. Maps on every wall. Red pins showing Allied positions advancing like a slow tide. General Major Wilhelm Krauss looks up from his desk. Reinhardt, you requested this meeting. Make it quick. Sir, Allied supply efficiency has increased approximately 12 to 15% in the past 3 weeks. So, they have more trucks. No, sir. Same number of trucks. They're just using them better. Krauss's irritation shows. Using them better. What does that mean? It means they've changed something. A method, a system, and whatever it is, it's working. Then we ambush more convoys. Sir, we've tried, but they're arriving ahead of our predicted schedules. By the time our forces position for ambush, the convoys have already passed. Then predict better. Sir, I can't predict what I don't understand. Krauss slams his hand on the desk. Reinhardt, I don't need understanding. I need results. If their convoys are efficient, destroy their fuel depots. No fuel at the source, no convoy to deliver it. Sir, that's defensive thinking. We're already losing. That will be all Hauptmann. That night, Reinhardt writes in his journal. The Americans have learned something we forgot. War is mathematics. They're solving the equation while we're still arguing about the variables. If this continues, it won't matter how many tanks we have. They'll simply outlast us. September 21st, 1944. Dawn at Cherbourg. 5:30 in the morning. The sky is gray, not quite light. The air smells like diesel and dew. 120 trucks lined up in perfect formation, drivers doing pre-flight checks. Engine sounds not roaring but humming, controlled. Morrison's voice is hoarse from 10 days of training. Gentlemen, this is it. 180 miles. Chartres. Everything we trained for. I won't lie to you. Command is watching. If this fails, it's my head. But that's not why you should make this work. He pauses. You should make this work because in 3 months, some of you will be driving in snow, in ice, in conditions where one wasted gallon might mean the difference between reaching a surrounded unit or leaving them to die. Tom Hartwell gave us a gift, a way to waste nothing, to make every drop count. Let's show him and show the Germans what Americans can do when we stop fighting our own equipment. Morrison's final words ring out. Don't drive for me. Drive for the soldiers who need what you're carrying. Drive like their lives depend on it. Because they do. 6 o'clock. Lead truck rolls out. Engine note, steady. Not aggressive. The sound of confidence. Second truck follows. 50 feet back. Precise. Third. Fourth, fifth. 120 trucks moving like one organism. A British observer watches from the roadside. Bloody hell. Look at them. Like a machine. Corporal Samuel Hayes grips the wheel of Truck 47. Age 19. Farm kid from Nebraska. First major convoy. His hands sweat. He remembers Morrison's words. Feel the truck. He presses the gas. Not hard. Smooth. The truck responds. No lurch. Just motion. Behind him, Truck 48. Driven by Private Diego Santos, maintains 50 feet back. Hayes can see him in the mirror. Steady. No closing, no falling back. Hayes thinks we're doing it. We're actually doing it. Hour 3. The road tilts upward. Steep grade approaching. Standard response downshift. Hard floor. The gas power through. But Morrison's training said downshift early, maintain steady throttle use, momentum. Hayes feels the truck slow slightly on the climb. His instinct screams, give it more gas. But he doesn't. He holds steady. And the truck crests the hill without strain. Behind him, 119 other trucks do the same. Hour 4. 10:15 in the morning. Radio crackles. All units enemy aircraft spotted. Single recon plane northeast 2 miles out. Standard doctrine says scatter, take cover, hide. But Morrison's order comes through. Maintain formation, steady speed, do not deviate. Drivers panic on radio. Sir, we're sitting ducks. He'll see us. We need to spread out. Morrison's voice stays calm. Trust me, stay in formation. Look boring. The German reconnaissance plane circles overhead. The pilot radios his base. Allied supply column Route 7. Standard formation, low priority. Continuing patrol. The plane leaves. Cole's voice comes through the radio. Morrison, did we just hide by not hiding? Exactly. Panic looks important. Routine looks boring. We just saved fuel and our lives by looking like we weren't worth the ammunition. Hours 6 through 8. Hayes's back aches. His eyes burn. His hands cramp on the wheel. But the rhythm holds. Truck 47, 50 feet behind, 46, 50 feet ahead of 48. Radio chatter stays minimal. Just section checkpoints. Professional. Calm. 5:20 in the afternoon. 120 trucks roll into Chartres Depot. Not scattered, not staggered. In formation. Supply sergeants stare. One whispers, I've never seen a convoy arrive that clean. The fuel logs come in. Expected consumption based on historical data, 3,847 gallons. Actual consumption, 3,182 gallons. Savings, 17.3%. Arrival time, 43 minutes ahead of schedule. Breakdown, 0. Casualties, 0. Morrison reads the numbers. His hands shake. He walks away from the crowd, sits on a crate, puts his face in his hands. Cole approaches. Sir, you okay? Morrison's voice breaks. It worked. Tom was right. It actually worked. September 22nd, 1944, 8 in the morning. High Wycombe headquarters. Conference room smells like bad coffee and tension. Vickers sits at the head of the table, Morrison's report in front of him. He's been reading it for 5 minutes. No one speaks. Vickers finally looks up. 17.3%. Yes, sir. 0 breakdowns. Yes, sir. Long pause. Morrison, stand up. Morrison stands expecting the worst. Gentlemen, I owe Captain Morrison an apology. I called this farmer's theory impossible. I said field modifications were dangerous. I was wrong. The room goes silent. Vickers continues. In 1918, my brother Michael was killed by a shell that exploded prematurely. Official cause: unauthorized modification to standard munitions. Some private thought he knew better than the engineers. Since then, I've believed that regulations exist for a reason. That deviation kills. But Morrison taught me something. Sometimes the regulations are wrong. And sometimes a farmer in Iowa knows more than a West Point graduate. He looks directly at Morrison. How fast can we scale this? Sir, every convoy, every depot, every driver in the European theater. How long? 4 weeks to train. You have 10 days. The front's moving faster than we can supply. We need this implemented yesterday. September 22nd through 30th becomes a blur of activity. Morrison sends telegrams to every supply depot. New convoy doctrine mandatory training. Instruction cards are printed. Steady saves, aggression wastes. Training is conducted at 14 depots simultaneously. Mechanics are briefed on engine tuning for steady state efficiency. Dashboards are marked with spacing guides. Some resistance comes. A depot commander in Nancy sends back, "We've been running convoys for 18 months. Why change now?" Morrison's telegram reply is blunt. Because 18 months of men died in convoys that ran out of fuel. Change now or explain to their families why you didn't. By September 30th, 847 drivers are trained. 340 trucks modified with spacing guides. 12 depots fully implementing the Hartwell method. September 25th, 1944, Storm Lake, Iowa. Martha brings a letter from the mailbox. "Tom, it's from David." Thomas's hands tremble opening it. "Tom, it worked. 17.3% fuel savings. 0 breakdowns. 0 casualties. They're implementing your method across the entire European theater. 847 drivers trained so far. More every day. You did it, Tom. You're saving lives from Iowa. I don't know how to thank you. Dave." Martha smiles. "Tom, that's wonderful." Thomas sits down heavily. "Is it? What do you mean, Martha? What if I made them targets? They're driving steady, predictable. What if the Germans figure out the pattern and ambush them because they know exactly where they'll be?" That night, Thomas can't sleep. He lies in bed, calculating. 847 drivers. Average convoy, 85 trucks. If one convoy gets destroyed because they're too predictable, that's 85 men. Dead because of him. 2 in the morning. By lantern light, he writes, "Dave, I need to know. Is this making them safer or just slower targets? Numbers don't tell me if boys are dying because they followed my method. Please, I need the truth. Not the good news. The truth. Tom." Martha finds him at dawn. "You didn't sleep. How can I every convoy that uses my method if something goes wrong?" "Tom, you're saving them." "I hope so. God, I hope so." October 5th, 1944, German headquarters Metz. Reinhardt briefs General Major Krauss. "Sir, I've compiled 3 weeks of data. Allied supply efficiency has increased 15 to 20%. Convoy interception success rate has dropped from 23% to 11%. "Why?" "I don't know. But whatever they've changed, it's working. Their convoys arrive faster, carry more waste, less. We're losing the logistics war. You're telling me we're being beaten by what, better trucks? No, sir. Better thinking. Krauss unfolds a map. Then we stop thinking and start hitting. Hard. The Ardennes, winter offensive. We cut through their lines before they can resupply. Capture their fuel depots. Use their efficiency against them. Reinhardt stares at the map. Sir, if we're planning to capture their fuel, that means we're admitting we can't beat their supply lines. Exactly. Which is why we strike before winter, before they're ready. Reinhardt quietly says to himself, we're planning our largest offensive because we can't compete with their logistics. They've already won. We just haven't admitted it yet. October 8th, 1944. Morrison receives Thomas's letter. He reads the fear in Tom's words, sits at his desk for 20 minutes, writes back, Tom, I won't lie. There's risk. There's always risk in war. But the risk of doing nothing was higher. Before your method, we were losing 30% of convoys to fuel exhaustion. After 10%. That's 20% more trucks arriving. 20% more soldiers eating, fighting, living. Are some convoys still ambushed? Yes, but fewer. Because they arrive faster waste. Less time stopped. Give the enemy fewer opportunities. Tom, you didn't make them targets. You gave them a fighting chance. And in 2 months, when winter hits and the Germans make their move, your method might be the only thing that keeps our lines supplied. Thank you for refusing to quit, for fighting from Iowa. You're saving lives, Tom, every single day. Dave. Thomas reads the letter, closes his eyes, whispers, then God help me if I'm wrong, and God help them if I'm right. December 16th, 1944, 5:30 in the morning, Ardennes Forest. The snow doesn't fall. It hangs in the air, suspended, waiting. In the dense forests, the only sound is breathing. Fog so thick you can't see 10 feet. Trees like black fingers against gray nothing. In foxholes along an 80-mile front, American soldiers huddle. Cold. Quiet. Something feels wrong. One corporal whispers to his buddy, "It's too quiet." He's right. 5:30. The German artillery opens up. Not a few guns. Thousands. The sound isn't sound anymore. It's pressure slamming into your chest. Trees explode into splinters. Earth erupts. The fog lights up orange-red, strobing like hell's disco. And then engines. Tank engines. Hundreds of them. Operation Wacht am Rhein. Hitler's last gamble. 200,000 German troops. 1,000 tanks. Goal split Allied lines. Recapture Antwerp force. Negotiated peace. Hitler's bet winter weather will ground their planes. We'll overrun them before they can react. But Hitler doesn't know about a farmer in Iowa. Doesn't know about 847 drivers trained in a method that wastes nothing. Doesn't know that the Americans have in 3 months made their supply lines nearly unbreakable. He's about to find out. The first 48 hours are catastrophe. Entire American units overrun. Communications collapse. Fuel depots captured or destroyed. Weather grounds all Allied air support. The 101st Airborne is surrounded at Bastogne. December 18th, 1944. Bastogne perimeter. Colonel Harper of the 101st Airborne stares at the fuel gauge on his last operational tank. Current fuel 120 gallons. Consumption rate 1.5 gallons per hour in combat operations. Time until empty 80 hours. Time until German assault 36 hours. Radio message to Schaeff headquarters. Bastogne to command. Surrounded. Fuel critical. Estimate 72 hours before complete immobilization. Request immediate resupply. Airdrop impossible due to weather. Repeat airdrop impossible. At SHAEF headquarters 180 miles away, a quartermaster does the math. Distance 300 miles. Route through German-controlled territory. Conditions blizzard, ice zero visibility. Time available 48 hours. He writes on the map, impossible. And then Morrison walks into the room. December 18th, 1944. 2 in the afternoon. SHAEF headquarters, underground bunker. Cold. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. Maps cover every wall. Red pins showing German advances look like blood spreading through a body. Eisenhower stands at the map, face gray, smoking his 4th cigarette in an hour. Gentlemen, Bastogne must hold. If Bastogne falls, the Germans split our line. If they split our line, we lose the bulge. If we lose the bulge... He doesn't finish. The quartermaster speaks. Sir, they need fuel. 4,000 gallons minimum. Weather's grounded every plane. Ground convoy is what? Suicide, sir. Morrison speaks from the back of the room. Sir, I have a convoy that can do it. Everyone turns. Morrison, your farmer's method convoys. Yes, sir. 85 trucks, trained in Hartwell efficiency doctrine. They can move through anything. Vickers objects. Morrison, those drivers are trained for efficiency, not combat. This route goes through German lines. Sir, efficiency is combat. Every mile we save on fuel is a mile we can go deeper. Every hour we save by not stopping is an hour the Germans can't set up ambush. Eisenhower asks, who commands this convoy? I will, sir. Silence. Vickers speaks. Morrison, you're a staff officer. You haven't driven a convoy in... I trained every one of these drivers personally. I taught them Tom Hartwell's method. I won't ask them to do something I won't. Eisenhower stares at Morrison for 10 seconds. Morrison, if you don't make it, Bastogne falls. If Bastogne falls, we lose the initiative. If we lose the initiative, this war drags into 1946. You understand? Yes, sir. You have 48 hours, 300 miles, through enemy territory, blackout conditions, no air support. Yes, sir. Eisenhower's voice softens. Go, and God help you. Morrison turns to leave. Eisenhower calls after him. Morrison, that farmer of yours, tell him we're grateful. If I make it back, sir, I will. December 18th, 1944. 10 at night. Verdun staging area. The air smells like snow diesel and fear. 85 trucks lined up in darkness. Drivers loading fuel drums, ammo crates, medical supplies. Every truck carries enough to keep Bastogne alive for 3 more days. If they arrive. 85 drivers gather. Their breath makes fog clouds. Most are from the original Chartres run. They know Morrison. Trust him. But this is different. This isn't training. This is 300 miles through hell. Samuel Hayes stands by truck 47, age 19. Nebraska farm kid. This is his 6th convoy. First through combat zone. His hand shakes as he checks the fuel line. Sergeant Marcus Cole commands the lead truck. Age 31. Red Ball Express veteran. 14 months in theater. Lost 2 brothers at Anzio. Steady. Unshakable. Private Eugene Walsh checks truck 23. Age 23. The skeptic from the first test. Now a believer. Family, wife, and daughter, age 2 in Philadelphia. Morrison addresses them. No bullshit. Gentlemen, I won't lie. This is the most dangerous run any of us will make. The roads are ice. The Germans control half the route. We can't use headlights. We can't stop. Hayes raises his hand. It shakes. Sir, what's the plan if we're ambushed? Stay in formation. Keep moving. The moment we scatter, we're dead. But if we stay tight, stay steady, we're just another convoy. Boring. Routine. Walsh asks, Sir, what's our odds? Morrison is honest. I don't know, but I know this. Tom Hartwell's method has gotten us through every convoy so far. It'll get us through this one. Cole speaks up. Sir, what if it doesn't? Then Bastogne falls, and the men of the 101st die because we didn't try. Silence. Load up. We roll in 30 minutes. December 19th, 1944. 4 in the morning, no dawn yet. Snow falling. Temperature -8 Celsius. Lead truck Cole driving rolls forward. No headlights. Only cat-eye blackout markers on the truck ahead. Behind him, 84 trucks. 85 engines humming. Not roaring, humming. The sound of discipline. Hour 1, 4 to 5 in the morning. Hayes grips the wheel. Truck 47. His hands shake, not from cold. From fear. Outside his windshield nothing. Black. Snow streaks past like tracer rounds. The only guide, 2 dim red lights on truck 46 50 feet ahead. Hayes' internal voice repeats. 50 feet. Steady throttle. Don't brake hard. Feel the truck. Morrison's voice on radio stays calm. All sections. Speed check. 28 miles per hour. Maintain. Responses crackle back. Section 128. Section 228. Section 328. Like a heartbeat. Hour 2. 5 to 6 in the morning. 5:37. Lead truck hits ice patch. Cole feels it. Rear wheels lose grip. Standard reaction slam brakes. Wrong. Cole's reaction release throttle let engine brake steer into slide. Truck straightens, keeps moving. Cole radios. All trucks ice at marker 47. Steady throttle, no sudden braking. 84 trucks hit the same patch. 84 trucks navigate it without incident. Because they were trained. Hayes hits the ice, feels the slide. Panic rising. Remembers Morrison's training. Tom Hartwell's voice through Morrison. Feel the truck. It'll tell you what to do. Hayes releases throttle, steers gently. Truck glides through. Hayes exhales, hands still shaking. But he's alive. Hour 3. 6 to 7 in the morning. 6:18. Radio crackles. Contact. German half-tracks 1,200 yards east. Moving parallel. Standard doctrine stop hide wait. Morrison's order. Maintain speed. Engines low. Silent running. The convoy keeps moving. Steady. No panic. Through the trees, Hayes sees them. German vehicles may be 15 moving through the forest. They're 400 yards away. If the Germans look, inside a German half-track, Feldwebel Kruger speaks to his driver. Wait, do you hear engines? Ja, west. Sounds like supply convoy. Ours or theirs? Can't tell. Too steady. Probably ours. Kruger checks his map. We're supposed to have supply run through this sector. Keep moving. They don't investigate. A panicked convoy makes noise. Revving engines, shouting erratic movement. The Germans hunt for panic. This convoy sounds routine, professional, boring. So the Germans assume friendly. After the Germans pass, Walsh whispers on radio. Holy Mary, we just walked past them. Cole responds, we didn't walk, we drove. Steady, like we belonged. Morrison adds, gentlemen, that's twice Tom Hartwell's method has saved you. Once from a recon plane, now from a patrol. Stay steady, stay alive. Hour 4, 7 to 8 in the morning, 7:43, truck 52, engine seizes, smoke pours from hood, driver Private Jackson radios. Convoy, this is 52, I'm down, engine's gone. Morrison asks, 52, can you restart? Negative, she's cooked. Abandoned vehicle, crew splits between trucks 51 and 53. Convoy maintains speed. We do not stop. Jackson's voice breaks. Sir, we're just leaving it. Jackson 84 trucks need to reach Bastogne. We can't risk them for one truck. Grab your gear, move. Hayes watches in his mirror. Truck 52 stopped on the roadside, 3 men climbing out, waving the convoy onward. Hayes's throat tightens. We're leaving them. Morrison radios to Jackson. Jackson, you did good. Stay off the road. We'll send recovery after the line's secure. Go get them, sir. The convoy keeps moving. 84 trucks now. Hours 5 and 6. 8 to 10 in the morning. Fatigue sets in hard. Hayes's eyes burn from staring into darkness. His back screams from 8 hours hunched over the wheel. Hands cramping so bad he has to flex his fingers between grips. But the rhythm holds. Watch the 2 red lights ahead. Maintain 50 feet. Steady throttle. Don't think about the cold. Don't think about the Germans waiting in the trees. Don't think. Cole's voice breaks through on radio. All trucks, sound off. How we doing? The responses crackle back, tired but steady. Section 1, we're freezing our asses off but rolling. Section 2, can't feel my feet, but we're maintaining. Section 3, somebody remind me why I volunteered for this. Scattered laughter cuts through the tension. Morrison keeps them engaged. Hayes, you still with us back there? Yes, sir. Truck 47, maintaining position. You doing okay, son? Hayes doesn't lie. Scared, sir. Real scared. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing. You're doing great. Walsh cuts in. Hey, Hayes. After this is over, first round's on me. I mean it this time. You said that last time, Walsh. Yeah, well, this time, I actually mean it. Cole adds, we're all holding you to that, Walsh. More laughter ripples through the radio. Nervous, but genuine. These men are holding each other up with words because their bodies are too exhausted to do anything else. 9:47 in the morning. Through the swirling snow, Hayes sees something that makes his heart jump. Smoke rising in the distance. Artillery flashes lighting up the gray sky. The deep rumble of battle. Bastogne, maybe 10 miles out. The radio crackles with a new voice. Unknown convoy. This is Bastogne Defense. Identify yourself. Morrison responds immediately. Bastogne, this is Convoy 42. Fuel and supply resupply. 84 trucks inbound to your position. A long pause. Static. Then the voice comes back. Thick. Heavy with emotion barely held in check. Convoy 42. We have less than 2 hours of fuel remaining. Where are you? 3 miles out. Hold on. We're coming. 12:17. The final approach. The road narrows. Opens into exposed fields. German artillery positions on the ridges have clear sight lines. The first shell screams in and detonates 50 yards to the left of the convoy. Snow and frozen earth erupt into the air. Then another shell. 30 yards right. The Germans are bracketing, walking their fire in, finding their range. Morrison's voice cuts through the explosions. All calm gone now. Pure urgency. All trucks, floor it. Formation be damned. Go, go, go. 84 engines roar. No more stealth. No more discipline. Just speed. Raw, desperate speed. Hayes mashes the accelerator to the floor. Truck 47 surges forward. The engine screams. Behind him in the mirror, he sees Santos in Truck 48 right on his tail. Shells explode everywhere. One lands directly between Hayes and Santos. The blast wave hits like a physical fist. Hayes's truck rocks violently. The windshield spiderwebs with cracks. Metal shrapnel pings and rattles off the truck bed. But Hayes grips the wheel with everything he has and keeps it straight. In his mirror, through the smoke and flying debris, he sees Truck 48 emerge. Still moving, still there. Walsh in Truck 23 feels the impact before he hears it. Shrapnel tears through his right rear tire. The explosion is deafening. The truck lurches hard right. Every instinct screams to hit the brakes, but Walsh fights the wheel, keeps the truck pointed forward, keeps moving. 3 wheels and a rim grinding on frozen ground and a whole lot of prayer. 12:47. Lead truck crashes through the Bastogne perimeter. Cole's hands are locked on the wheel like claws. Behind him, 83 more trucks follow. Battered, smoking, paint scorched, metal torn, but moving. Still moving. American soldiers line the road. They stare. Then the cheering starts. Men crying, shouting. Grown soldiers with weeks of dirt and blood on their faces weeping openly as the trucks roll past. Hayes's truck comes to a stop. He tries to stand. His legs buckle. He falls out of the cab into the snow. Can't feel his feet. Can't feel his hands. A paratrooper from the 101st Airborne, his face black with soot and powder burns, drops to his knees and grabs Hayes's hand, squeezes it hard. You came. You actually came. We thought we were done. Hayes tries to speak. Nothing comes out. He just nods. The paratrooper is crying now. Not ashamed. Just crying. We're not gonna die today. You hear me? You saved us. You goddamn saved us. Morrison stands in the snow watching fuel drums get offloaded, watching mechanics swarm the tanks, watching engines that were silent roar back to life. He thinks about a letter written in pencil on a farm in Iowa, about a man who couldn't fight because of a bad knee, a man who thought he was useless. Morrison whispers into the cold air, "Thank you, Tom, from all of us." The final count comes in. Trucks departed Verdun 85. Trucks arrived Bastogne 83. Fuel delivered 3,960 gallons. Mission success rate 98.5%. Time elapsed 9 hours 47 minutes. Casualties 0. Truck 52 crew recovered 3 days later. All alive. December 20th, 1944, 8 in the morning. German intelligence office, Ardennes sector. Reinhardt stands at his desk reading field reports. His aide hovers nearby. Sir, American convoy reached Bastogne. 83 trucks. Full fuel delivery. Reinhardt's voice is quiet. Defeated. How? Unknown, sir. They moved through the night. No lights. Our patrols reported nothing. Our artillery failed to stop them. Reinhardt spreads the map across his desk, traces the route with one finger. Verdun to Bastogne, 300 miles through German-controlled territory in a blizzard. He does the math in his head. They would have needed to average over 30 miles per hour in those conditions, with that precision. This should be impossible. Sir, Lieutenant, we are not fighting an army anymore. We are fighting a system, a way of thinking. They have learned something we never understood. That war is not about power. It is about efficiency. The aide shifts uncomfortably. What do we do, sir? Reinhardt looks at him, really looks at him. Nothing. There is nothing we can do. They have already won the logistics war. Everything else is just waiting for the end. 9 in the morning. Reinhardt briefs General Major Krauss. The general's face is red with anger. Explain to me how 83 American trucks delivered fuel through our lines. Sir, they used a method we cannot counter. What method? Discipline, efficiency, precision. They waste nothing. Not fuel. Not time. Not a single unnecessary movement. We hunt for chaos and panic. They give us routine. We position ambushes based on predicted schedules. They arrive ahead of prediction. Krauss slams his fist on the table. You're telling me we're losing to better driving? Yes, sir, exactly that. Reinhardt continues carefully. Sir, we launched this offensive specifically to capture American fuel depots because we could not match their supply efficiency. But they just delivered fuel straight through our lines. We have failed at the one objective that might have given us a chance. Krauss stares at the map. All the red pins, all the initial gains, none of it matters now. Then the offensive will collapse, sir. Not immediately, but within 2 to 3 weeks, we will exhaust our fuel reserves, and the Americans will not. That night, Reinhardt writes in his personal journal, "We lost this war in September when the Americans learned to stop wasting fuel. We just didn't know it yet. They defeated us with mathematics while we were still arguing about tactics. History will remember the battles. But the real victory was won by men in trucks who simply refused to waste a single gallon." December 28, 1944, Storm Lake, Iowa. Thomas Hartwell sits at his kitchen table reading the Des Moines Register. The headline screams, "Bastogne relieved." The article mentions a convoy, 83 trucks through enemy lines. No names. 3 days later, Morrison's letter arrives. Thomas's hands shake opening it. "Tom, we did it. 83 trucks, 300 miles through hell. 0 casualties." Corporal Samuel Hayes, Wentine, Nebraska farm kid, drove truck 47 for 10 hours through conditions that should have killed him. Afterward, I asked how he did it. He said, "I just remembered what my dad taught me on the tractor. Steady wins. Tom, that was you. Your voice in every truck. You couldn't carry a rifle, but you fought harder than anyone. When Hayes gets home, I told him there's a farm in Iowa that needs a good hand. Thank you. From all of us. Dave." Thomas writes back, "Tell Samuel the job's open. I'll teach him corn. He can teach me courage." July 1945. A battered truck pulls into Hartwell Farm. Young man climbs out limping, shrapnel wound. "Mr. Hartwell, I'm Samuel Hayes. You drove truck 47. Thomas extends his hand. "You know tractors." "I'm a quick learner, sir." "Then you're hired." The years pass quietly. 1953, the Army adds convoy efficiency to training doctrine. No names credited. 1974, oil crisis hits. Analysts find references to Hartwell method in archives. Civilian trucking adopts the principles. 1983, Thomas dies peacefully at 84. His obituary mentions farmer community member. Nothing about war. A historian finds Morrison's letters, publishes article, "The Farmer Who Saved Bastogne." Finally, the story emerges. Present day, Interstate 80. Convoy of 18-wheelers moves in tight formation, steady speed, precise spacing. The driver doesn't know the history, doesn't know about a farmer in Iowa or 83 trucks through a blizzard, but he's using the method every day. The legacy lives invisible. Thomas Hartwell never wanted recognition. He wanted to contribute from a place where he felt useless. He couldn't carry a rifle, so he carried an idea, and that idea written in pencil in a 10-cent notebook saved thousands of lives. History remembers generals' battles medals, but wars are won by invisible hands. Farmers who measure fuel, drivers who refuse to waste, mechanics who understand that small things done with precision can change everything. Thomas Hartwell changed warfare forever, not with weapons, with wisdom, not with force, with efficiency. His name won't be in textbooks, but every truck driver who saves fuel by staying steady carries forward his quiet legacy. Sometimes the greatest courage isn't charging forward. It's refusing to waste what you've been given, and trusting that quiet competence applied with discipline can save the world.